Tennis fans, greetings from Toronto, Canada for Rogers Cup presented by National Bank, and it's Facebook Live. It's the draw ceremony. This is the only place you can check it out. Hey everyone, I'm Nick McCarville, and it is a beautiful day here in Toronto. We're atop the Bisha Hotel in downtown Toronto. Just behind me, some of the beautiful skyline that dots this city, and also just to my right is where the official draw ceremony is going to take place. It's happening in just a few minutes. You're going to see Rafa Nadal is going to be at the front of the room. You're also going to see who the top players in tennis are taking on against one another in the first round of Rogers Cup. Check it out, stay tuned, because we're going to have Mr. Nadal with us here in just a few minutes. But this is the draw ceremony of Rogers Cup coming at you on Facebook Live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today at Bisha with our beautiful Toronto skyline all around us. This afternoon, we will complete the official draw for the 2018 Rogers Cup presented by National Bank, with 9 of the top 10 ATP players in the world coming to Toronto for our ATP Masters Series 1000 event. Our city has a treat in store this year for sure. Plus, in a historic first, the TTC Line 1 extension means that the subway will take fans to within a 5-minute walk of the Aviva Center, making it easier than ever to access world-class tennis. We are showcasing our great city today because we wanted to show Torontonians that the Rogers Cup is their tournament and that we are proud to be part of this great city. The format for today's official draw is as follows. We will have an opening remarks from our participants at the front, followed by the fun part, the official Rogers Cup presented by National Bank draw. We will then take questions from members of the media in a Q&A format, and we will conclude with individual interviews and a photo opportunity with Rafa, of course. To start, I'd like to introduce the people up front with me. We have Rogers Cup Tournament Director, Carl Hale. World number 1, Rafael Nadal. Tournament referee, Tony Cho. And ATP supervisor, Lars Graf. I would also like to acknowledge some other special guests in the room. Joining us in the crowd today are Drew Stevenson, Vice President, Rogers Brand. Tariq Naguib, Vice President, Personal Banking, Ontario and Western Canada for National Bank. And Vice President of Professional Events for Tennis Canada and Managing Director, Rogers Cup, Gavin Ziv. I'll now turn the floor over to Rogers Cup presented by National Bank Tournament Director, Carl Hale, who will give us a glimpse at the next 9 days of world-class tennis and what fans can expect when they arrive at Aviva Center on the campus of York University.
Thank you, Ken. We're really excited about this year's Rogers Cup, arguably the best Rogers Cup in history, led by 19 of the top 20 players, with the #1 player in the world, Rafael Nadal, right here with us. Thank you for coming, Rafa. And also, let's give him a big hand again. And also, what's really intriguing and exciting this year is from the very first round, we have top players that could potentially play on Monday: Novak Djokovic, Milos Raonic, and Kei Nishikori. So that's really exciting for us. Then also, Stan Wawrinka has accepted a wild card. Andy Murray will not be here because he's doing so well in Washington. So unfortunately, he'll not be here. But we're excited to have Stan, a 3-time Grand Slam champion. And also, we have excellent upgrades on the ground. Our grandstand has gone from 3,000 seats to 4,000 seats with a covered area. We have a new medical zone that Rafa will be really happy. He'll get well taken care of, along with all the rest of our players. And a new food and beverage offering, so a really exciting week. And of course, like Ken said, the TTC is right outside our stadium, so very accessible for all of our new fans and existing fans. So have a great week, Rafa, and the rest of our players. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Having seen the new grandstand court, I think you'll all be very excited when you walk in there. It really does look like a small stadium court now. It's unbelievable. It's going to seat a lot of people. It's fantastic. Thank you, Carl. It's now time to find out how the tournament will shape up by completing the official draw. I will now turn the program over to tournament referee Tony Cho to conduct the drawing and placement of the players.
Thank you, Ken, and welcome everybody to the draw ceremony. Basically, what we're going to do today is draw the seated players here at the table, and the rest of the players, we actually done a pre-draw before we got here with a player representative from the ATP. So the rest of the draw will be filled after we place the seeds in the draw first. Let's get started by placing our number 1 seed, Rafa Nadal, number 1 player in the world, on line number 1. And our second seeded player, Alexander Zverev from Germany, on line number 64. So our top 8 seeds get a bye into the second round. Now we take our number 3 seeds and 4 seeded players. They are Juan Martín del Potro and Kevin Anderson. The first one drawn goes on line number 17, the next one on line number 48. So we'll ask Drew to come and draw chips 3 and 4 with Lars. Drew, go ahead. First one drawn goes on line number 17. Number 3 is Juan Martín del Potro on line number 17. Followed by our number 4 seed, who is Kevin Anderson on line number 48. Now we take our seeds number 5 through 8, and they are as follows: Grigor Dimitrov, Marin. Now we'll ask Tarek to draw the 5 through 8 seats. First one goes on line number 16. Number 6 is Marin Cilic from Croatia on line number 16. Next one on line number 32.
Number 8.
It's John Isner from the USA on line number 32. Next one on line number 33. Number 5 is Grigor Dimitrov. Followed by our last seed in the top 8. Number 7 is Dominic Thiem on line number 49. Now, number 9 through 12 seeds and place them in the draw. And now we're going to ask Nick Kyprios to come and draw. The 9 through 12 are Novak Djokovic, David Goffin, Diego Schwartzman, and Pablo Carreño Busta. The first one goes on line number 9. This is a big section.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Diego Schwartzman on line number 9. Followed by on line number
12.
Number 12 is Pablo Carreño Busta on line number 25. Next one on line number 40 against Raonic.
Number 10.
Number 10 is David Goffin.
And number 9.
Number 9, Novak Djokovic, goes on line number 56. Now we take our final seedings, number 13 through 16, and we'll ask Louis St. Pierre to come up and draw them. Number 13 is Jack Sock, followed by Fabio Fonini, Roberta Bautista Agut, and Nick Kyrgios. Okay, first one on line number 8.
Number 16.
Number 16, Nick Kyrgios. Next one, line number 24.
Number 14.
Number 14 is Fabio Fonini. Next on line number 41.
Number 15.
Number 15, Roberto Bautista Agut. And finally, our final seed.
Number 13.
Number 13, Jack Sock on line number 57. Now, as I mentioned before, we did a pre-draw, and then now we'll start filling from the top of the draw all the way down. And now you see the matchups come up on the draw. Rafa is carefully studying the draw. As you can see, we have quite a few interesting matchups in the first round. So now that concludes the draw ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. When your field is this tough, there's no easy ones, and we can certainly see that from the draw today. Before we move into questions, I will turn it over to Carl for a moment to highlight a few of these key matches as he's just witnessed the names being filled in. So, Carl, what do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously I look at Rafa's here first. So what do you think, Rafa?
I always say the same. No? In the Master Thousands, it's impossible to have a good draw. You need to play well. It's not a big chance to avoid top players because best players are here, so it's impossible. So always the same thing. If you play well, always the draw looks a little bit less bad, and if you play bad, the draw looks very bad.
So if you look in Rafa's area there, that match Stan and Nick, it's obviously a blockbuster match for a first-round match. If you move on to the Canadians, I'll just go to Dennis because he's defending semifinalist, so he's got to defend a lot of points. He has a place Chardy. He beat him at Wimbledon, and then he would probably play Fognini, so that's interesting. But then over here, Milos plays Goffin, which is a really interesting match. So there's so many really good first-round matches and second-round matches that it's just, like I said, arguably our best tournament ever, and really excited to see these matches on Monday.
It's going to be an unbelievable event, that's for sure. Thank you, Carl and Rafa, for your insight. I like the competitiveness in you there, looking over for the top quarter to see who is landing in your section there. Love to see that. I'd like to now open up the floor to questions from the media for Rafa and or Carl. We do have 2 wireless microphones in the room, so if you have a question, if you could put your hand up, we'll have Katie or Gail run a microphone over to you. Right up front here, there's one. Gail? From Mike with the, there we go.
Questions for Rafa. Rafa, your first Rogers Cup win was back in 2005 in Montreal, and I was looking at the draw today, and everyone you faced in that draw has now retired from the ATP Tour. So I'm just wondering, as a veteran, how has the game changed for you since back then?
Well, it was a long time ago, of course, no? And yeah, all the sports have an evolution, and it's normal that the game is changing. The new generations brings new energy to the game. They grow up with different education too, so that makes a big impact on the game, no? But game changed, but being honest, still. Maybe not from 2005, but from 2006, 7, 8. There's still a lot of players that are in the top positions, in the similar positions that how used to be in that year. No, so that's an interesting thing. I don't know much why this is happening, but yeah, it's true that a lot of top players still here, and I'm very excited to come back to Toronto. It's true that I won in Montreal 2005, but at the same time, it's true that I have been in Toronto 4 times before this one. That's going to be the 5th. And for me, 2008 was so special because with that victory, almost automatically, I became the world #1. That was a big goal for me at that moment. And I missed this tournament much more times than Montreal. That's what happened. Had some tough injuries, and I'm very excited to be back. It's a tournament that I love, and great tournament director, great relationship with him, and I'm very excited to be back, and I hope to have a good days of practice before the tournament starts.
Well, we're certainly thrilled to have you back in Toronto, Rafa. I can tell you that as a guy that's in the club system in this city. When we knew you were coming and we knew you were here practicing and ready for the Rogers Cup presented by National Bank, the city's abuzz to watch Rafa Nadal play at the Aviva Center. So thank you for coming. We have another question from the back.
Rafa, as you get ready for hard court, what's been the transition in your training from clay to grass to hard court as you get ready for this event?
You know, I didn't have big practices before here. I had a very long clay court season. Playing, feel very happy, but I played a lot, and I played great Wimbledon again, and tough matches, and I needed to rest a little bit mentally and physically now. So of course, I started to work on court 1 week and a half ago, but going step by step and just trying to do the right basis to arrive here and have the 5 days of hard practice to try to be ready for the action. No, that's my goal, and you know, I am 32 already, so it's not like before that I need to be 100% practicing at my 100%. For example, I don't know, 330 days per year. Now it's a little bit different. I take a little bit my timings off to recover the body physically and mentally, and I hope to do the right thing to be very competitive for the hardcore season.
Do we have any other questions out there? Yep, right here in the front. We'll run a mic to you. Right here. There we go.
Rafa, what do you remember about that match with Denis Shapovalov last year? What kind of stood out for you, first impressions, playing Denis?
No, it was a great feeling. Not at the end, but yeah, it was a tough lose for me at that moment because it was a chance to become world #1 again. Losing that match, I missed that chance. Like Roger pulled it out from Cincinnati, and then I became world #1 again. But yes. Was a good match of tennis. He's a great player. In that moment, it looks like was a bad lose for me because Denis was known, but not very well known for the people who are not inside the circuit, the tour. But he played great, and even like this, I remember that I had a lot of chances to win the match before, but he's brave, he's good, he has everything to become a big star, and 1 year later, that lose, of course, is not that bad. No, it's a lose that can happen, and it was a great atmosphere. I enjoyed the match. As I said before, it was tough for me to lose at the end, but I was playing great during the whole season. No? So when you are playing well, you lose one match like this, you accept it, you go to the next, and that's it. No one drama.
Great. We have another question here, front right.
Hi, Rafa. Welcome back to Toronto. You mentioned the 2008 win. Would you say that's your favorite memory of playing in Canada, or are there any other memories of playing in Canada that stick out for you?
I know I am in Toronto, but well, 2013 victory, that semi-final match against Novak have been so special for me. Have the chance to win again on hard courts after a very tough 2012 with a lot of problems on the knees. That year have been that victory means a lot to me. So that playing great final after against Milos, probably that's the favorite memory. And yes, of course, after. That was a big achievement for me. As I explained, 2008 here, the victory gave me the chance to become the world #1. That in some way, I don't like this word that is deserve, because in sport I believe that you don't deserve, you do it or you don't do it. But in some way I felt that I have been for almost 3 years playing so well, very consistent, and being always during that period of time #2. Second on the ranking after Roger, was something great, but at the same time Novak was arriving, so was the moment to make a step forward, and to make it. So that victory was decisive on that.
Is there any other questions from the floor? Rafa, I do have one question for you.
Okay.
I saw you looking up at the draw a little bit. We always hear the term one match ahead. As a professional tennis player, are you looking ahead in the draw at all, or are you typically just focused on that next match all the time?
I am not this kind of guy that say I don't like to watch the draw. I just like to see the next match. No, I am very normal. No, I watch the draw. I like I like to see the full draw. That's don't think that I cannot think about. Babrinka, Kyrgios, Joao before playing Benoit or qualifier. I know the first round gonna be a tough one, but watching the full draw don't distract me on being focused on that first round. No, and I like to see the confrontations that are in the first round. There is a couple of ones very, very interesting in my opinion, and that's it. I take always by match, and that's what I did all my life. That's the only way, in my opinion, to have success. You need to respect all the days, all the opponents, and in tennis things changes so quick. So you need to be ready to accept both things, victories and losses.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everyone. On behalf of Tennis Canada and our tournament organizers, we'd like to thank you for attending today. I'd also like to thank Bisha for their hospitality and the views. They are spectacular.
All right, very excited here to be joined by Rafael Nadal, world #1, top seed here. He just helped us with the Rogers Cup draw. Hey, you hit today at Aviva Center. How did it feel to be back there on the hard courts in Toronto?
Hello, and yeah, good feelings, of course. Be back in Toronto is a great news because I am not here since 2010, so just excited to be in this amazing city again, and yeah, the tournament is big. I see a big improvement on the Viva Center, and it's nice to see the tournaments grow, and it's great. Carl is doing a great job, and the hospitality have been always better impossible, and I'm very happy for everything.
Rafa, you mentioned, you've done it many years in a row, going from Wimbledon to the hard courts. What do you have to focus on in your tennis? You had such a great run at Wimbledon. I know you wanted to go a couple steps further, but how are you feeling about your tennis in general?
good. I need to practice a couple of days here. Now. After Wimbledon is always a moment to slow down the work, and I take like 10 days off, and then I start to practice step by step. I didn't spend a lot of time on court yet, but I think I did. I work at the right basis to be ready for this tournament, and I have 4 more days of tough practice here, hard work, and I hope that will be enough to be very competitive.
I know the fans out there like knowing that you're playing Wednesday night. Is it nice for you to come to a tournament and know, okay, today it's Friday, and you have this whole sort of run up to know that I am playing Wednesday night?
Well,
does it help that?
I don't know.
You don't care?
Of course, it's better to know when you play, but I really don't think much about it. I know. I'm not a player that thinks I need to practice 2 hours today because I play tomorrow. I need to practice 1 hour. No, I practice as much as I feel that I need, talking with the team. And of course, having the first match on Wednesday night gave me plenty of time to keep working and to keep doing the right things to be ready.
Okay, well, we're very happy to have you back here in Toronto for Rogers Cup presented by National Bank. The last thing I want to ask you, Rafa, is what do you enjoy most about Toronto? Because I know you like good food. I know you like to try to enjoy that you're in, but what does Toronto bring that no other city does?
Actually, I almost don't remember because
you haven't been here for a while.
8 years without being here now, so it's a while. But I arrived here with time, and I for sure gonna enjoy the nights with the restaurants and going a little bit the city. I have time, and I am always very open to do things with the team.
Okay, we're wishing Rafael Nadal the best of luck. Rafa, thank you so much. And we're going to have Carl Hale, the tournament director, here in just a minute. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Thank you. All right, so stay tuned, guys. We're going to get Carl Hale here in just a second. He's going to walk us through the draw, but how cool to catch up with Rafael Nadal. Stay tuned. More stuff right here on Facebook Live. Okay, lots happening here. You're watching Rogers Cup presented by National Bank Facebook Live. Nicole Carbo here alongside Carl Hale, who's the tournament director. That was some exciting stuff with the draw. We just had Rafa talking about it.
Yeah.
But are you happy with the draw?
That was the most exciting draw I've ever seen, and the matchups are unbelievable. I mean, off the top of my head, Kyrgios and Wawrinka, first round match. That could be a final anywhere. The Canadians. So I think the draw worked out favorably for Dennis. He plays Shardy, who he beat a month ago, and he's defending a lot of points. And then Felix plays Pui, who's 20 in the world, so that's a great matchup. And then Milos plays Goffin, the number 10 seed, so we're hoping to get that on Monday, hopefully. So just great matchups all around, and then the second round matches get even better.
Talk about for people out there, because I was just telling Rafa, you play Wednesday night. How nice is it to know that he plays Wednesday night? You've got Shap on Tuesday, day or evening? Evening, Shapovalov Tuesday evening, get your tickets. But for you guys, once that draw comes out, then you're going to shape your next few days of play.
Absolutely. Right after this interview, we're going into call it the war room, and we kind of talk to a lot of the players and agents and stuff and try to get the week settled. But we think we have amazing choices to have amazing matchups for the day and night sessions for the whole week.
Okay, overall, just to people watching out there on Facebook Live, a few of the improvements that you guys have worked really hard, not only for the fans, but for the players.
Yeah, I mean, starting with the players, because, they're why we're here. So we have an improved medical zone, which is the best on the tour. We have 4 private rooms for their teams, 4 private rooms for physios, and then we have new ice baths, all of those. It's really amazing, and the locker room as well. They love it. They've been here for a couple of days. They absolutely love it. And then on the grounds, we upped our grandstand to 4,000 seats, and we have a covered area in that grandstand area. Then we have food offerings. Just there's so much more that we put into this year. We're excited to kick it off tomorrow.
As soon as I hear covered, that's where you'll find me. I don't do well in the sun, so
we'll be together.
Yeah, okay, good. Also, just overall, if we look at the draw, you've got Nadal and Cilic in the quarters. These are potential matchups.
Yeah.
Delpo, Isner, Dimitrov, Anderson, Team Zverev. That's the projected quarterfinals, Carl, but so much can happen, and that's why we get so excited for the first few days of the tournament. And you mentioned you've got players like Raonic, Goffin, who will play against each other. Djokovic, Wawrinka, all playing a first-round match. We
Yeah,
don't see that very often.
Nishikori, like, you know, it's unfortunate they've been injured, a lot of them, so their rankings have dropped, so they're now in this position. But it's fortunate for a tournament like us because from the very first day we have great matchups.
Disappointing, obviously, to lose Andy Murray, but Stanley Wawrinka goes ahead and grabs that wild card into the main draw. Last line from you. You're excited for the event. What do you want to tell people out there on Facebook?
I think, you know what, come out, you're going to see great tennis, great offerings on the ground. It's our best experience ever. If you're off for the week on Monday or this weekend, come out with your family. You're going to have a great time.
You can also tune in globally on tennistv.com. Go to rogerscup.com for everything you need. Draws, order plays, schedules, everything is there for you. rogerscup.com. Follow us on social media right here on Facebook, Twitter. Are you on Snapchat? Snapchat, Instagram, anything out there, YouTube. Rogers Cup is the way. Thank you so much for joining us today on Facebook Live. We're going to give you behind-the-scenes exclusive content all week long here from Toronto. See you guys later.
Okay. Awesome, man.